Oh, that was a rush. Holy cow. Oh my goodness.
Zach, what you gotta say?
Sorry, Mom.
Hey there, my name is Dewey Jones. I'm a Colorado off-roader, and what we do here is we film trail guides that show you the trail, but we use less capable vehicles to see what the true difficulty is. Now, I have a stock Rubicon. My buddy is out there with an XJ that's upping on 31s. Now, what we're doing today is a little bit different. Normally, we stick to the fun treks or trails off-road routes as described in their reference material. However, today we are doing a Moab Easter Jeep Safari trail. We are going to do Wipeout Hill to 7-Mile Rim. It should be really fun, should have some awesome features, but some incredible scenery. So I hope you stick around and check it out. We'll give you all the details of doing this route, and I'll let you know at the end what you need to do it yourself. This was day 2 of our first wheeling trip of 2021, and if you couldn't tell from that lackluster intro, I was exhausted. Now, I had been working away from my home up near Steamboat Springs all winter, and making matters worse, I had no vacation in 2021. In fact, I'm not even sure how I got away to go in Moab, but I do know why I went. Wheeling just makes everything better, and both Zach and I were excited to combine both Wipeout Hill and 7-Mile Rim in what we thought was the Easter Jeep Safari route, but more on that later. Now, it has come to my attention that people watch our videos from all over the world, which is absolutely wild. So here is the United States, and I live in the state of Colorado. When we filmed this, I was living in the Steamboat Springs area, which is about 4 hours and 46 minutes away from Moab, which is in the neighboring state of Utah. Here is Moab, and Wipeout Hill is in the northwest region of the area. Now, this area is absolutely beautiful, and you can also find Arches National Park here. Now, there's a lot of great trails here, and I have these filmed. We just need to put them together, but they will eventually be posted on this channel. Our goal was to give you a complete picture of the trail without making it a 2-hour video. So here we are starting south and heading north on the Wipeout Hill Jeep Trail. In the Fun Treks book, this portion of the trail is called the Wipeout Hill Loop and is Trail 16 in the 3rd edition of the book. The loop is rated as moderate by Fun Treks, but when someone says Wipeout Hill, they're talking about the obstacle. And I think you're going to agree that it's probably more than moderate. The good news is you don't have to do the obstacle to complete the loop, but the entire loop will be saved for a later video as we will be using Wipeout Hill to connect to 7-Mile Rim, and I'm thinking you're going to love combining the trails as we do in this video. My first big purchase of 2021 for this channel was to buy this DJI Air 2S. But despite being certified, I really didn't know what I was doing. Like here where I hadn't even learned how to increase its range yet. The camera really doesn't do this hill climb any justice, but it is definitely a bit daunting, but nowhere near as daunting as Wipeout Hill is. End up turning the corner and transitioning onto sand after getting over this first hill climb. And although the sand was no issue for Zach and I, the drone would continue to be a different story. The trail alternates between sand and slick rock between miles 1 and 2, and in the Fun Treks book they rate this section as easy. Now we would agree with them, but I'd like to add this is another great section to take in the views of all these awesome rock formations. Now in the follow-up video to this one, Zach and I will give you an up close and personal look at what it's like to climb up onto these rocks. We are approaching mile 1.9, and here is a fun little drop into a wash that contains both sand and slick rock. After we climb out of the wash, we start our final stretch of trail that takes us right up to Wipeout Hill. Now this section continues to be a mix of both sand and slick rock, and you're going to get closer views of the rock formations you first saw in the distance as you started the trail. This rocky turn marks the start of an optional obstacle. Now we would probably rate it as moderate, but we'll let you be the judge. Now there is a bypass to this one, and we're going to show it to you after we complete the obstacle. That right there is a bypass to that. So bypass right there to that. Solid axle. Next up is Wipeout Hill, but before we take that on, we need to negotiate one last rough section. Now this section is no more difficult than the rough areas that came before it, however we did think it was rough enough to get some outside footage for it. This is Wipeout Hill, and although Zach and I are no strangers to taking on challenging obstacles, I have to admit this one made me nervous. First off, in reality it's steeper than our video shows, and it has enough bumps that we knew it could potentially lift a tire. We also knew with a name like Wipeout Hill that this obstacle has likely seen its share of rollovers. Finally, neither Zach or I watched any videos of this being done, and although we had a crowd, no one else was willing to try it, so Zach stepped up with his up and diff XJ and just sent it.
How you feel?
A little nervous about this. I'm excited though.
Vertical.
I did not want to back down.
And you were open.
Yep, fully open.
I will not be doing this open. No way.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
man.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd crawl up it if you can.
So now it was my turn, but before I go, I'd first reposition the drone. Now, unfortunately for me, I made some mistakes, and we're going to pick that story back up in the next video. But definitely come back, as I'm going to share the location of an awesome spot we found that you're probably going to want to check out too.
You want to let some out?
This is the right line?
Yeah, I definitely stayed more on the right side. Woo! So, Colorado mole crawler Dewey Jones, how'd some of that Moab wheeling treat you?
I feel like I cheated. I had my lockers on.
From Wipeout Hill, you have two options. You can continue north towards Tusher Wash, and that is the way of the Easter Jeep Safari route. Now, Zach and I actually went this way, and we'll show that in the next video. However, our original intention with this video was to combine Wipeout Hill with the more challenging high rim portion of 7 Mile. So that's what I'm going to show you now to finish out this video, and I think you're going to love going this way too.
Probably the sketchiest part of this route besides Wipeout Hill. So it will be that little horseshoe basically. You do feel tippy, but it really isn't bad.
This is what Funtrix calls burnt toast, and it's a little over half a mile away from Wipeout Hill. Now, going our way adds about 8 miles of difficult trail, while going north adds about 5 miles of trail. Now, in the future, I'm going to make a detailed guide of 7 Mile, including the entire 13-mile trail. But today, we're just going to focus on the highlights of the high rim portion so you guys get a good idea of what it's like to do the trail our way. Monitor and Merrimack Buttes have been dominating our view for most of the day, and by taking the high rim portion of 7 Mile, you will end up going between them. Now, this may be a good place to gather your crew or to have lunch, but I'm going to show you another lunch spot that I like better, and it's not too far away. About 2 miles from Wipeout Hill is a 4-way intersection that leads to an overlook. However, we have had good views all day, so we're going to skip that and instead go check out an arch that is off the beaten path a bit later. This is the start of the last 6.2 miles of trail, and it will alternate between moderate and difficult terrain till we get off of it.
Here's a little feature of 7 Mile Rim, nothing too difficult. There is a bypass over on that side, however, we will go up it. Sure, it's fine coming down. However, if you don't have skid plates, you may not like it. All right, this section looks kind of fun. It's noteworthy. I'd like to have outside shots of it, but since I am doing this alone, I'm gonna have to come up with a creative solution. So let me see if I can do that.
As you can see, there are lots of ledges and rougher spots on the high rim portion of 7 Mile. Now, we will continue to work our way through it as we get to our next point of interest, a good spot for a group lunch. We want to film over 400 trails, and we already have Moab trail guides filmed on Poison Spider, Hidden Canyon Overlook, Bartlett Overlook, and Secret Spire. Now, my biggest issue is that I am the sole editor and my job keeps me pretty busy, but I'm taking 2 video making courses that should not only improve my editing speed, but it should also improve the quality of these videos. So I hope you consider subscribing to see if we can accomplish our goals.
All right, guys, when you see those rocks, definitely stop and take a look at the view on the other side. It's pretty awesome. You could probably take a look over there too. The view's not bad that way, but I would walk out that way. You kind of get a nice perspective. It's also a spot that can fit a lot of vehicles, so you guys could have a lunch here, especially if you're in a big group. All right, let's keep going. Being an original East Coast wheeler, I really want to go through that, but I'm also a Colorado wheeler, and we generally try to stay from mud. It tears up the terrain, at least out here out west. But man, does that look like fun. And then you got a little bit harder climb that way. And unfortunately, we got an easy route right here, so that's what we're gonna do.
Our next point of interest is Uranium Arch, and since we're focusing on the highlights, let's get there.
Now, it would probably benefit me to actually look at my guidebooks as I'm filming these. We are on the way to Uranium Arch. We're doing a side diversion. We could have gone straight up there, and that would have cut some time out, but we're gonna go see Uranium Arch, and that's what we're filming. So let's go.
We still have more obstacles to get past, but let's get started on the trail breakdown. Now, despite my difficulties I encountered on these 2 days of Wipeout Hill and 7-Mile Rim, I absolutely love these two trails together. Now, on the screen is my breakdown of combining the two trails as we did in this video. However, if you want a slightly shorter and easier portion of 7 Mile, I'd recommend the Easter Jeep Safari route, which we will show you in the next video. Overall, it's really fun to combine Wipeout Hill with 7-Mile Rim, and I love that you have various options on how to do it. I definitely recommend that you know how to pick lines for your vehicle. Also, Wipeout Hill is where our high pucker factor rating comes from, but that tippy curve on 7 Mile is a close second. If you are fine with both of those, then I think you're gonna love the scenery and the fun you're gonna have on this trail. We make these trail videos so that you can have a better idea if you can do the trail in your vehicle. And here on the screen are some of the dangers I think you should consider. Just remember, there is always danger from off-roading, so it is advisable to start on easier trails and work your way up to harder ones. Now, I normally do these trail guides without using lockers, but I'm glad I used my rear locker on Wipeout Hill. However, Zach showed you don't actually need lockers to do it, but it's going to be a bit more exciting. I did not use lockers anywhere else on the trail though.
These are the steps. Not too bad. You do want to watch it if you're stock. As you'll see, I came down a little hard right around here, but I mean, that's one of the easiest steps. I just didn't take it right, and I took it too fast because I was watching the drone. But it's not too bad. The worst one's up there, but I didn't feel anything. I took the right line. Happens once in a while. If you want to see more videos, click up there. If you want to see what YouTube thinks you'll like from us, click over there. And if you like what you see and you want to see more, they should be only getting better. Hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate you guys.